Good YouTube, it's KB with Just Do Boxing, back with another video. I wanted to holler at y'all about a potential matchup between Shakur Stevenson and primetime Chris Colbert. What y'all see on the screen is them going back and forth, basically calling each other out, saying they want to make this fight happen for 2022. I wanted to get my thoughts on both fighters, what I think about each guy. Chris Colbert, he's 16-0, 6 knockouts, 25 years old, 5'8", 71-inch reach. Made his pro debut 2015 on May 29th. Recorded a TKO against Marquise Pierce. He fought 8-0-1 Antonio DeVos in his 5th pro fight, and he won by unanimous decision. 2 fights later, he fought another undefeated fighter, and 7-0 Titus Williams, and they had a lot of back and forth building up, between the fight. And that's a fight in which Lil B-Hop, he dominated. He picked up another unanimous decision victory. His next fight was against another unbeaten opponent, 11-0 Austin Dulé, where it got stopped at the end of the 7th round, due to Delay's corner stopping it because I think he was taking too much punishment. I think B-Hop was too fast for him, and he was just like 2 steps ahead of him. And Delay, he was tough, he was undefeated, but he just couldn't keep up. And he ultimately ended up getting stopped in the stool by his corner. That was an impressive win for B-Hop. His combination punching, his speed, reflexes. He was showing off a little bit in that fight. And then, and he won his WBA world title in his 14th fight against Jezreel Corrales. You know what I mean? He defended his belt twice against Jaime Arboleda, who he stopped by TKO. And his most recent fight was a unanimous decision win over King Tug Nyambiar. He was a solid, tough fighter. His only one loss at the time was to Gary Russell. So I think that was another good, solid win for Lil B-Hop, you know what I mean? And I think it's going to be interesting to see who they put him in there with next. You know what I mean? He's a, really good young fighter, really fast hands, quick reflexes, fast feet. Good defense. He gets hit a little bit, though. He could definitely improve there. He definitely can improve on the defense. Fast jab. Definitely has a fast jab and fast combinations as well. But he's aggressive at times when he's trying to be. When he's trying to, sit down on his punches, he could be a little mean in there. But ultimately, he's not a puncher. He's a boxer. You know what I mean? And that's what you're going to get in most B-Hop fights. Probably go the distance, but he's still going to be entertaining while you do it. You know what I mean? So he can be a little wild at times. So, he has some things he definitely could work on. Still a young fighter. You know what I mean? Like I said, you're only 16-0. So I think a fight between him and Shakur Stevenson would be a hell of a fight. And then we got that boy Shakur Stevenson, 17-0, 9 knockouts, 5'7", 68-inch reach, dangerous southpaw, Nork zone. 24 years old. He made his pro debut 2017, April 22nd. And I think his skills speak for themselves, man. He's one of the most well-rounded young fighters in boxing. I'm definitely high on this dude. I definitely think he got an opportunity, and he's in a really good chance to unify and become undisputed at 130. As long as he could get those other champions in the ring with him. One of those other champions would be Lil B-Hop with that WBA title. And I just hope they make this fight. I mean, Shakur is very high IQ. Quality operator, you know what I'm saying? He controls distance and range better than pretty much any fighter I've been watching up to date. Any young fighter up to date. I mean, he doesn't waste movement. His balance, he got great balance, great punch placement. And his combinations are great. He's fast hands, great reflexes. And his defense he has some of the best defense in boxing out of any boxer in any weight class. I mean, right now, and I know it's early in his career and I'm not comparing him to Floyd, but just right now, he gets hit even less than Floyd Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? Just look up the numbers. This kid really is something special, man. And the way he transitions from offense to defense and vice versa, he's able to, hit and just not get hit, man. He's the prime example of what the sweet science is all about, man. I see this kid dominating for a long time at a high level at that. He picks his punches well, and I just can't say enough about his defense. I mean, it's hard for guys to hit this kid. You know what I mean? I think he's boxed 43 consecutive rounds without being outlanded in terms of punches landed. You know what I mean? I done seen rounds where his opponent landed 2 or 3 punches the whole round. Like you just rarely see that in young fighters today. The discipline he's shown and the patience and how he's grown and into his body and somewhat some would call it him getting his man strength, if you want to say that. But I think he's filled out at 130 well. I mean, he's pretty much dominated all 17 of his opponents. I mean, and him on a bad night is him winning every round. So just imagine him on a good night. His most recent win came against Jamel Herring in a complete shutout where, as far as the people that I talked to, I told them, I like Jamel Herring. I thought he was a quality fighter. But as the saying goes, there's levels in boxing. And I just knew right off the bat Shakur Stevenson was levels above Jamel Herring. No disrespect to him. I just knew who the better fighter was. It wasn't nothing for me to think about. It wasn't a hard decision. And I said it, Jamel Herring would be lucky if he had won 2 or 3 rounds. And I said, and that's being generous. And as you see the way the fight played out, he didn't win a single round and was stopped, And I think that was a breakout performance for Shakur Stevenson. I mean, you got people that complain about his power. Well, you can't complain after that performance. He showed you everything. I mean, and like he said a lot of times, I still don't think we've seen the best of him. And the reason that is because of the level of competition. I think, not only is he a talented fighter, he's a God-gifted fighter. And there's a handful of those in the sport of boxing today. He's one of them. He's God-gifted. And I just think the better his opposition is, the better he's going to be. And I think he's going to show that. And any chance he get, whoever gives him the opportunity, I think he's going to show you just that. I mean, it's the reason Bob Arum is keeping Oscar Valdez away from Shakur Stevenson. Let's be real. We already know what time it is. I mean, for whatever reason, they don't want to make that fight. You will hear Oscar Valdez saying, Shakur Stevenson been calling his name for a while. And then he'll say he want to fight him. Then he turn around and say Navarrete or whoever else he want to fight. It's more nonsense, man. I think at this stage, especially a fighter in Valdez's situation, what he got, 30 fights or more? Like, come on, man. You need to fight Shakur Stevenson. Stop running from the smoke. Fight that young boy. If you're not scared, I think you know what's going to happen. I think your promoter knows what's going to happen. I don't even think you can win that fight. And it's obvious because you're not willing to make it. I mean, you want to call every other name except Shakur Stevenson. And that's the fight that needs to happen. But being that, that's not happening, B-Hop, he seems to be very confident in himself. And I think, given the opportunity, I think he'll step in the ring with Shakur Stevenson. I mean, I'll give him that. I'm not going to say he would be scared. Like I said, you don't get to the level these guys are at, even though they're young in their careers, they're very successful for good reason. And you don't get to the level that they're at being scared. And I always say that. I don't understand why a lot of fans, when fights don't happen, that's the first thing sometimes people say is either they're ducking or they're scared. You got to consider the business aspect and the timing of things. But I think once you grab a belt, there's no more you're not ready and he's not ready. Once you get your hands on a title, you gotta behave like a champion. And I think the newly crowned WBO 130-pound champion Shakur Stevenson is behaving just like a champion. He was behaving like a champion even before he got that belt. And I don't expect anything different moving forward. Dangerous southpaw. Like I said, this kid is one of the most patient, smartest, intelligent fighters that I've seen in a long time. And I really think he's going to go really far. I think this is a future Hall of Famer, future legend. Some people might say I'm jumping the gun, but I don't think so. I mean, time will tell, but as of right now, he's checking all the boxes, and you can't really see many glaring weaknesses in his game. Let's be real. At all fighters, he's not perfect, but he always has things you can work on, but he doesn't have glaring weaknesses in his game, which is why some of these other top fighters in his division don't want to get in there with him. But like I said, a fight between him and B-Hop will be amazing. I know people will support it. They will get behind it. The fight will sell. Shakur Stevenson wouldn't be short on words, and we all know Will B-Hop, he's an entertainer. So I know the fight will do well, and I know in terms of performance, those two dudes are going to come to try to hurt each other. They ain't going to want to take a backward step. Two alphas in the ring. May the best man win. I'm not going to pick who I think will win right now, but just know that I think these are two great fighters, and I will support either of them, win, lose, or draw. And like I said, just hopefully we get this fight in 2022 because they've been calling each other out. And it's a fight that's just good for boxing. I think everybody will support it, you know what I mean? And hopefully we get it. May the best man win. But that's my thoughts on that fight. So as always, y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Get in the comment section and let me know if I gave Shakur Stevenson and Primetime Chris Colbert their just due. That's what I do. We're just do boxing. To the next one, I'm out. Peace.